Mr. William Mullins. 2 is Chinralla, Mr. Kieran O'Toole. 3, Colonel Heather, Mr. Frank Card. 4, Compton Lad, Mr. Dermot Brown. 5, Double Bluff, Mr. Oliver Sherwood. 6, Earls Brig, Mr. Jimmy Walton. 7, Eliogarty, Miss Caroline Beasley. 8, Gayle Warning, Mr. Sandy Dudgeon. 9, Lady Buttons, Mr. Nigel Tutty. 10, Loyal Partner, Mr. Simon Andrews. 11, Pastry Brush, Miss Margaret Kimnell. 13, Sparkford, Mr. John Brown. 14, Sub Rosa, Mr. Charlie Gordon Watson. 15, The Drunken Duck, Mr. Bob Munro Wilson. 16, the old man himself, 15 years old, Tide Cottage, Mr. John Fowler. And 18, Yorkshire Mariner, Mr. Michael Dawson.
Well, it's very rare to find a gold race on our way to join Richard Pittman.
And she's one of the joint favourites, 3-1, Compton Lad and Eliogarty. Earls Brig, 9-2, Chinralla, 8-1, The Drunken Duck and Tide Cottage, 10-1. Colonel Heather is on 14-1, Double Bluff, 16-1, Sub Rosa, Utter Cleart and Yorkshire Mariner, 33-1. And on 50-1, Gayle Warning, Lady Buttons, Loyal Partner, Pastry Brush and Sparkford.
The grey and getting whiter each year as we see him. This is Compton Lad. He's a 10-year-old now and carries 12 stone, trained by Michael Dickinson. 108 winners so far this season. Dermot Brown, leading amateur so far this season with 29. He won the title last year, and there doesn't seem to be a danger to him this year. Well, this horse...
And they're away. Sparkford, the first to show, with Old Tide Cottage. The 15-year-old taking it up as they come now to the first of the 22 fences. Tide Cottage, and really taking him along too. Earls Brig jumped it second, then Sparkford and The Drunken Duck and Lady Buttons, and behind them in Pastry Brush they come to the second. Tide Cottage. From The Drunken Duck and Earls Brig and Sparkford, and then comes Pastry Brush and Gayle Warning, and on their inside Lady Buttons, and then Aha Clear and Sub Rosa and Eliogarty. And Eliogarty is Colonel Feather. Back markers at the moment are Double Bluff and Chinralla, as Tide Cottage runs down to the next plain fence, the one before the water. Tide Cottage from The Drunken Duck and Earls Brig and Sparkford and Lady Buttons. And Gayle Warning. Pastry Brush on the outside of Gayle Warning, and Lady Buttons and Aha Clear and Eliogarty and Colonel Heather, and Sub Rosa and Compton Lad and Loyal Partner. And still Tide Cottage as they come to the first of the ditches. Tide Cottage from Earls Brig, The Drunken Duck. Jumping at fourth, Pastry Brush, with on the inside Sparkford. Between horses is Gayle Warning. Coming to the sixth, Tide Cottage from Earls Brig, then The Drunken Duck, then Sparkford on the inside, Pastry Brush, Aha Clear, Gayle Warning, behind Gayle Warning, Lady Buttons, then Eliogarty and Colonel Heather, and then Compton Lad. They come to the second ditch now. It's 15-year-old, Tide Cottage. Jumps it from Earls Brig. Drunken Duck jumped it third, and they're all safely over that ditch with Yorkshire Mariner, the back marker. Race to a fence at the top of the hill now, the 8th of the 22. Tide Cottage jumps it clear of Earls Brig. The Drunken Duck. They're all safely over that one. In fourth is Gayle Warning. Just behind Gayle Warning is Sparkford. And then Aha Clear and Pastry Brush and Compton Lad, and behind them Eliogarty and Lady Buttons and Chinralla. Over the 9th, Tide Cottage, well clear over the 9th. Slight mistake there by Earls Brig. Running down towards fence number 10, Tide Cottage, clear of Earls Brig, The Drunken Duck, Gayle Warning, Pastry Brush, Compton Lad, Eliogarty and Aha Clear. Behind them, Lady Buttons, then Sparkford. So running now to the fence that'll be the second last on the next circuit. Number 11 this time, and Tide Cottage in the lead from Earls Brig and The Drunken Duck. Then comes Gayle Warning. Behind Gayle Warning, Pastry Brush and Eliogarty. Then Chinrulla going well. Behind Chinrulla was Lady Buttons and Aha Clear. And then Colonel Heather and Compton Lad well in contention. And Pastry Brush a faller there and has brought down Lady Buttons. Pastry Brush a faller, brought down Lady Buttons, hampered some Rosa. Pastry Brush's riders up on her feet over the 12th, and it was Tide Cottage who led from Earls Brig, Eliogarty, the Drunken Duck, behind them Gayle Warning, then Compton Lad and Chinrulla, and then a little gap to Double Bluff and Colonel Heather, behind them Aha Clear. Behind Aha Clear is Loyal Partner, behind Loyal Partner is Sparkford, Sub Rosa and Yorkshire Mariner, and both riders up all right, both horses all right too, and just continuing, one of them continuing riderless and the other going up to the top bend, and still old Tide Cottage coming down to number 13 in the lead. From Earls Brig, Eliogarty going strongly with Caroline Beasley, then the Drunken Duck, and then Chinrulla going well, Compton Lad on the inside. Then comes Gayle Warning. Behind Gayle Warning, getting a reminder there, is Colonel Feather, and then Double Bluff on the inside over the water, and Tide Cottage from Earls Brig, Eliogarty. Behind Eliogarty, Compton Lad, Drunken Duck, and Chinrulla. Behind them, Colonel Feather, Gayle Warning, Colonel Heather, and then on the inside, Double Bluff. And over that ditch, still clear, is Tide Cottage, the 15-year-old hero. Clear now of Earls Brig in second, Eliogarty is third, Compton Lad a close fourth. Then comes Gayle Warning and Chinrulla, and behind Chinrulla Double Bluff and the Drunken Duck, and then Colonel Heather as they come to the final ditch, 6 from home in the Christies Foxhunters. And Tide Cottage lands in the lead from Earls Brig, then Eliogarty still going strongly, Caroline Beasley, so's Dermot Brown on the grey, Compton Lad as they come to the fence at the top of the hill now, 5 from home. Tide Cottage lands in the lead from Earls Brig, Eliogarty, Compton Lad, Gayle Warning, Chinrulla, behind Chinrulla Double Bluff, and then the Drunken Duck, and then comes Colonel Heather, running downhill now towards the next 4 left to jump in the Christies Foxhunters, and it's still Tide Cottage, but being pressed now by Eliogarty. Tide Cottage lands in the lead from Eliogarty second. Then comes Compton Lad moving into third, Earls Brig under pressure on the inside, then comes Chinrulla under pressure, and then Gayle Warning. It's still Tide Cottage as they come down now towards the third last fence in the Christies Foxhunters. The 15-year-old Tide Cottage being chased now by Eliogarty and Caroline Beasley as they race towards the home turn. Coming there strongly again is Earls Brig, then comes Compton Lad. They're racing round the home turn, Tide Cottage being joined by Eliogarty, then Earls Brig, and then comes Compton Lad into the home stretch. 2 fences left to jump, and Caroline Beasley bidding for Cheltenham turf history, attempting to become the first lady to win at the festival. She comes to the second last on Eliogarty in the lead. Caroline Beasley is going to jump it in the lead. She jumps it a length clear of Earls Brig, who makes a mistake. Compton Lad is third, and now coming to the final fence, Eliogarty in the Christies Foxhunters, 4 lengths clear of Earls Brig and Compton Lad. Eliogarty jumps it clear. She's getting a tremendous reception already. Eliogarty is striding up towards the line. She's being traced by Earls Brig and Compton Lad. They'll never catch her. Eliogarty striding away to win the Christies Foxhunters of 1983 in tremendous style. And at the line, Eliogarty and Caroline Beasley went in second, Earls Brig, and third, Compton Lad. So festival history is made. The Drunken Duck runs on strongly to be fourth, heading the gallant old Tide Cottage just out of 4th place. Then came Sparkford and Chinrulla and Colonel Heather, then Double Bluff and Aha Clear, and behind them Sub Rosa. Behind Sub Rosa was Gayle Warning, and finally Yorkshire Mariner. So